everybody, I'm Tom Vasel. Welcome to a Week in Review. This is a video, blah, 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 blah. You're like, some of you are like, I heard you say this so many times before. You should just record it. Each week, we put out a lot of videos in the Dice Tower. This is a video in which we summarize them as quickly as we can. And that way, if you want to watch a specific one, you just click the link in the description below. How does it work? Like this.
Hey everybody, I'm Garcia. Here's what I did last week. So I reviewed the expansion, the first expansion, to Arkham Horror 3rd Edition, Dead of Night, which I rate a 7 out of 10. Which is the same thing I rated the core box, by the way. And this is one of those expansions which simply gives you more of what was in the original core game. You're going to get more of all the original kinds of cards, which we needed for some of those decks for sure. 2 new scenarios, 4 new investigators, basically about a third of the content that was in the original game as an expansion to what was there. I like it. I think it's great. Now, if you're someone who enjoyed the original, core set, this is great. If you're someone who was hoping for changes, you were hoping for a mix-up, this isn't really that. It plays to the strengths of 3rd edition, but it's not going to change it, okay? So be aware of that. I reviewed Deep Space D6, which I rate an 8 out of 10. This is a solitaire dice chucking and then sort of dice placement game in which you are, well, fighting baddies in space and defending the integrity of your little spaceship. It's cool. Not much of a looker. I wish the quality, the build quality was a little better, and I definitely wish the rule book was better. But the game is quick. It's enjoyable, it's engaging, it's the kind of solo game I like. About half an hour, not sprawling. I can manage it all quickly and fill, like I said, about 30 minutes or so and be done with the solo encounter that I was hoping for. This one does a great job at that. You might want to go online and check up some rule clarifications, but other than that, I think you're going to have a good time with it. And then lastly, I reviewed Dale of Merchants Collection, which I rate an 8.5 out of 10. And this is the third release in the Dale of Merchants line, but it's a different beast. It is a large box, which is going to have a set of cards in there, like a regular release in Dale of Merchants, but it also can store all of the rest of Dale of Merchants, and it has a couple of built-in expansions and variants and things like that. This is a deck building game, if you don't know what Dale of Merchants is, and you can get any one of them you want to start off, okay? It's very cute, it's enjoyable, it's engaging, quick. Dale of Merchants 2, Dale of Merchants Collection, they're all compatible, and they are all about the same vibe. But this one specifically is great because there's so much content in there, and it's such a wonderful storage solution. So it gets a big thumbs up from me. And that's all there is to it. I will see you on the next one.
Hey there everybody, Mike DiLisio here. This week I did solo mode reviews for 2 games. First I did a review for Deep Blue. This is from Days of Wonder, and this is a game that didn't originally have a solo mode in the box. They recently released a print and play scenario so that you can play from 1 to 3 players with some kind of ghost ship, so to speak, or robot ships. And it's fine. It's okay. I rated it a 6 out of 10. It's not a game I feel like has a lot of replayability as a solo game, so I think there are better push-your-luck solo games that you can find out there. I also reviewed Raiders of Scythia, and this is a game that is fantastic as a solo game. Outstanding. I rated it a 9 out of 10 and gave it a seal of excellence. This is a game I feel like is going to be in my running for solo games of the year in 2020. It's based off of Raiders of the North Sea with a different theme and some slightly different mechanisms that are added, mostly bits and pieces from other expansions from Raiders of the North Sea, but with some new twists added as well. Just a fantastic solo game, so you can check out my review on both of those games. That's it for me this week. Let's keep it moving.
Hey gamers, this is Davidson from Beyond Solitaire, and this is my week in review. This week I revisited a couple of old favorites, which are the games from the Hoplomachus series. In my first review, I covered the big box entries into the series, which are The Lost Cities and Rise of Rome. I particularly love these 2 games together because when combined they offer a ton of options, both in terms of factions you can play and AI that you can challenge. In my second review of the week, I covered Hoplomachus Origins, which is a smaller and more accessible entry into the series. And I do love the game, but I don't rate it quite as highly because for a solo player, you have to go through the solo trials, which are set scenarios, instead of just grabbing a faction, grabbing a bad guy, and going to town, which is the way that I prefer to play. Fair warning, Hoplomachus is kind of on the tail end of a print run right now, so if you go to the Chip Theory site to look for it, you won't find it. However, as of filming today, on May 28th, Funnigan Games is selling all the 3 main Hoplomachus games at a discount. So that was my week in review, and happy gaming.
Hello everybody, this is Graeme Manderson, and this week I looked at Treasure Lair. In this 20 to 30 minute game, you're gathering a group of adventurers together to send them out on a quest to hopefully bring back some treasure. You'll start the game with some money and 1 adventure, and there'll be 3 rows of cards representing the quests. On your turn, you're going to select one of the 3 available action cards, perform the main action, which usually involves manipulating the cards on the table somehow, then performing a secondary action of either getting money, hiring a new hero, or going on a quest. Going on a quest is just a matter of picking your heroes and picking a quest. You have to match the symbols on the quest cards to the symbols on the heroes that you've picked. The game is fine, but probably a bit too simple to last for repeated plays. I gave this one a 6 out of 10. And that's it for this week.
Hi everyone, Anna here. This week I reviewed The Crew for you guys, which felt like an instant classic because of its clever and intuitive combination of cooperative gameplay and a trick-taking game. I highly recommend this game to gamers and families alike.
Okay, so for me, I looked at Farmini, which is a tile-laying game about building farms. It's definitely geared towards kids, and it just doesn't work as well as I would like it to. It was very boring, I found, for kids. It's Blunderful. Weird situation, 3 funny responses, you pick one of them. I get that there's some people who would like this. I found the lack of creativity in it to be very, very uninteresting for me. Ripple Rush. It's a roll or a draw and write game. Not a lot of really meaningful choices and really low graphic design make this one I can't recommend because it just doesn't stand out at all from the other many, many games in this genre. Crossed Words. It's a decent party game where you're putting things in rows and columns and you're trying to think of a clever answer that fits both, but it's timed. And so this timed aspect doesn't fit with the thinking of a clever answer, at least for many people. Tasty Humans. The production of this game could have been better, but the idea of it's really funny. You're these big dragons and monsters eating humans that are like little Tetris blocks that fall down, and you're just trying to get tiles to land in different spots and score. It's a very thoughtful, puzzly-like game. Hexplore It, Valley of the Dead King. Now this is a fairly big, grandiose game. It's not, the box is not that big, but it's a adventure style game with a ton of stuff going on. And I'm really conflicted on this review. At the end of the day, I like the game, but wow, is there a ton of math, and the graphics and story design kind of take a back seat. But there's also so much good in the game. This one's really hard to summarize. You got to watch my review on that one. Cutterland. Really enjoyed this one. You cut up a card. Then everyone chooses a piece of the card, and then you add it to your tile things. It's actually destroying the game, but it still works really well. It's literal, I cut, you choose. Toy Stories, Obstacles and Adventures. This is a cooperative deck building game geared at families. Nails it. Really well done. Great art, great production, lots of fun. Then Back to the Future, Back in Time. This is an amazing cooperative game. The best Back to the Future game I've ever played. One of the best cooperative games I've ever played. Last year I raved about Horrified from the same design team. This one here, just as good. Really brings the Back to the Future, the first movie, to life. Lots of good decisions, fun production, just good all around. And then I took a look at the Funkoverse, new stuff for that. The Jaws set, which is good, and the Back to the Future set, which is phenomenal. And you'll have to see why in my review. I also continued playing apps. I played the marvelous Raiders of the North Sea app, and then I played Puerto Rico, it's a good game, but man, that's a horrible app. And then continued on my Charterstone journey. I took a top 10 games. If you like Street Fighter, or games like Street Fighter, then you would enjoy these games. Continued my 10,000 and below series. We did crowd surfing, and then we did a Spiel des Jahres showdown. Me, Mike, and Z, despite having really bad internet, talked about the different games that have won, the 41 different games that won the Spiel des Jahres, and which one came out on top. You might be surprised. I was. And then, of course, our daily chats that go off at 9 p.m. each day and are still going on. We have other people coming on and doing those now in the future, so stay tuned this week as we continue to do those. On a side note, if you've never watched Dice Tower Dish, where Corey interviews board game designers and stuff over a meal and then writes them out, it's fantastic. Definitely check that out. Anyway, that's what we have for you this week. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching Week in Review on the Dice Tower.